Can you all hear me? Everybody? दो केसेस पढ़ा भी थे लोगों एक स्टडी पढ़ा भी थी हमने उसका दे दिया था दोनों जो नहीं हुई थी नहीं वाली था Okay, so is there any other class going on apart from this one? Because only 4 students are there in the class today. So if there is any other class going on, shall I wait or shall I start now? Just let me know, anybody. Crazy, Sanobar, Kelvin, Fahad. Okay. So shall I start? She is unwell. Okay. Okay, so let's start the class. Our today's class is on organizational behavior, and the topics which we are covering in today's class is the concept of organizational development, objectives of organizational development, phases of organizational development, factors affecting organizational development, managing effective organization development interventions, benefits of organizational development, and organizational development facilitators. So this is our subtopics for the class organizational behavior. And organization is something we can say which keeps on growing, which is not stagnant. Something new is innovated every time. So organizational development, we can say, is an ongoing process. I use a short form OD for that. Organizational development is an ongoing process. How number of employees keeps on increasing, company keeps on doing more and more business, technologies keeps on changing, new advancements are there, lot of new training programs are going on, offices are increasing day by day. So we can say that organizational development is for the betterment of the organization. Organization grows. Organization grows. How it grows? In terms of manpower, in terms of money, in terms of organization, I am saying that the organization grows. How organization grows? Organization grows in terms of manpower, in terms of money, in terms of new offices, in terms of technology, in terms of policies and ethics, in terms of business. When I talk of business, so it means global. So can we say that, everybody, do you agree with me, everybody, that organization keeps on growing in terms of manpower, in terms of money, in terms of new offices, in terms of technology, in terms of policies and ethics, and in terms of business globally? So do you all agree with me on this? Let's start the class. So, introduction. What is organizational development? What is it not? When is organizational development needed? The concept of the action research model. So, it is a systematic method for gathering data about organizations' function as social systems and an analysis of the meaning of those data. The organizational development practitioner's job is to search for causes and consequences of organizational functioning. So, it is a systematic method for gathering data about how organizations function as social systems and an analysis of the meaning of those data. The organizational data practitioner's job is to search for causes and consequences of organizational functioning. What is the process for that? Diagnosis, discovery, intervention, implementation and evaluation. So, when we talk of organizational development, we are talking basically of the data of the organization. Data gathered from different resources. And what is the process of gathering data? Through diagnosis, through discovery, through intervention, through implementation and through evaluation. What is the purpose of organizational development? To design interventions to close the gaps between what is and what ought to be. To design interventions to close the gaps. So, purpose of organizational development is to design the interventions to close the gaps between what is and what ought to be. So, it is the fit between individuals and organization, organizational and environment, among organizations, strategy, structure and processes. Why I don't think everybody is facing a problem with the sound? Is my voice audible to everybody? Prabha says that she is not able to hear my sound. What about others in the class? Is everybody able to hear me properly? Just write yes or no. Everybody. Even I didn't hear anything. Rezi says, Sanobar says I can hear you. What about others? Kelvin, Fahad, Ranjit Kumar? Okay, let me get out. Let me log off of the class and log in once again for you. Now everybody can hear me. Is my voice audible to everybody now? I have logged off and logged in once again. Sahil says yes. What about Rezi says yes? Fahad says yes. Tanavar says yes. Okay. Prabha, shall you able to hear me? I could not hear anything. Just log off and log in once again. So purpose of organizational development is to design interventions to close the gaps between what is and what ought to be. So it is the fit between individuals and organization, organizational and environment among organizations, strategy, structure and processes. So purpose of organization, as I said, that organization keeps on growing. So you need every time for growing, what you need to do is, for growing you need to think of that what you are doing wrong, so that you can improve it and enhance yourself. That is what is required. That is what is said here, to identify the gaps and then fulfilling those gaps for the betterment. So we can say that is an ongoing development process and simultaneously organizational development is an ongoing development process and simultaneously filling those gaps for the betterment. Okay. Now moving ahead. Ranjit Kumar, log off and log in once again. What are the important components of the organizational development? Organizational development must be supported by number one, top management to improve an organization's visioning. That means picture of the desired future, then empowerment, then learning process, then interactive listening and self-examining process, problem solving through collaborative management, and work teams. So organizational development must be supported by top management to improve an organization's visioning, empowerment, learning process, and problem solving. So at each and every level, organizational development is required. Whether it's top management, whether it's a middle management, or whether it's a lower management. So how can we achieve that organizational development objective? By good teamwork, by analyzing the gaps and filling it, by strengthening our organizational policies. We can say rather by improving corporate governance. So corporate governance is a term which comprises of everything: IT governance, risk governance, everything. पापा को बोल दिया देने कहा भाई लोग बंद करो इसको वेट नेहा OD must be supported by top management. So at every level you have to work hard so as to fulfill the gaps in between. Clear to everybody? First is yes. What about others in the class? Okay. So what are the two main goals? Improving individuals, teams and organization functioning, give members the skills and knowledge to continuously improve. So you have to also give the members the skills and knowledge. We have to also improve the individuals, we have to also improve teams, and we have to also improve organizational functioning. Ranjit Kumar, there is no videos, there is only PPT which I am sharing, which I have shared rather, and which I am discussing right now. There is no video which is being played here. Only, are you able to see the PPT, PowerPoint presentation? The topic, the display is right now two main goals. The topic which is being displayed in the PPT is two main goals. Do you able to see that? See, I am clicking on two main goals. Do you able to visualize it? Ranjit Kumar, I am asking you. Is my voice audible to you, Ranjit Kumar? Okay, so do you able to see this? Do you able to see the PPT right now in front of your screen? Besides your chat box, on the left hand side of your chat box, do you see the presentation? I am clicking it right now. Do you able to see that? Please answer my question. Do you able to see that? Okay, moving ahead. So where do the demands for change come from? Outside the organization, government, customers, competitors, market, society. So this consultants. So these from where this concept of organizational development comes from? From the government. Suppose some policies, suppose there is some change in policies of the government because of the business has to change its policies, or customers require something new. Accordingly, you have to develop something new product because of competition, because of market, because of society. You have to implement the organizational development. That's why I have said in the starting that organizational development it's not a one-day process, it's an ongoing process. Organization keeps on growing. So we can say that organizational OD means organizational development is evolution, not revolution. It's an evolution. It is evoluting. Example, like a flower keeps on growing. It does not grow in one day. So outside the organization, it is because of government, customers, competitors, market and society. Within the organization, strategies, profitability, diversity, new personnel and products / services, because of which organization grows. So what does organizational development focus on? Organizational development focus on culture. Culture means values, assumptions, beliefs and norms. Second is processes, how things get done, method for arriving at results, overall design of the organization, how individual work tasks are grouped. This is what the organizational development focus on. Number one is culture. Organizational development focuses on culture. Then it focuses on processes. And then it focuses on structure. So organizational development is pair of hands, experts, doctor prescribing. It is a consultative process that values humanism, diplomacy, optimism, problem solving, and thinking out of the box. So organizational development keeps in mind all the perspectives: humanism, diplomacy, optimism, problem solving, and thinking out of the box. So these are some of the questions we can ask from the client about organizational development. What is the organizational structure? When I talk of organizational structure, I am talking about the hierarchy. Like at the top there is a CEO, below CEO there is executive directors, then below executive directors there are vice presidents, executive vice presidents, vice president, general manager, manager, senior manager. Then yes, the chart of the organization. Organization structure is the hierarchy. Like in an organization there are different departments: finance department, marketing department, HR department, business department, business process department. So that is the structure. Then what is the vision, mission and objectives of the organization? Whether it's an insurance company, it's a finance company, it's a manufacturing company. What is the company? What is the vision? What is the motive of starting the company? That is the second part. Then what is the roles and responsibilities of the leadership? Then what is the roles and responsibilities that is being assigned to the employees within the organization? Then what's going well, what's not going well? Then who is perceived as the leader? Questions to ask client is, who is perceived as the leader? What are some successes and failures that people talk about and why? So these are some of the questions which need to be asked from the client. Then, do the people feel pressured? Just read this. I want everybody just to read this one. Just read it, everybody.
Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Ranjit and here you'll find advice smartphone. Hello, my name is Ranjit. Hi again.
Okay, so I'm just playing a video for you on the organizational development right now. Just everybody watch this video. That will help you to understand the organizational development in a much more clear way. Okay, are you all ready for the video?
Through my blog, my homepage columns and the video tabs across my site, you should have an idea of what Learning 2.0 essentially is and why it's so important. You'll have noted that Learning 2.0 is a paradigm shift to view learning more as a process involving learners rather than a product or an event. And you'll recall my own view that it's fundamentally a shift to stop wasting money by developing formal training, which can be very expensive, instead of getting people to collaborate through more informal methods like communities of practice. In the upcoming slides, we'll take a look at why it's important to have an organizational learning strategy and more to the point, why you want your learning and development function to play a more strategic role in your company's overall organizational development. It is important to have learning and development strategy, and more to the point, why you want your it's important to have learning and development strategy and to have learning and development department that plays a more strategic part within it. Here's why, though it happens very infrequently. Let's take three fundamental business elements. If your company has goals, if your company has a strategy to reach those goals, and if your company has core skills that makes your business unique and keeps your customers coming back, then wouldn't you want your learning and development department to be in sync with those elements and formulate their curriculum accordingly? If your learning and development department are teaching technical skills and soft skills without this kind of alignment, then you're wasting your time and your money. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen this happen. But let's take this a stage further. Let's assume, due to market demand and globalization, that your company suddenly needs to alter its core products and services. Again, you'd want to involve your learning and development function in this change to make sure that your company is well prepared developmentally for those newly required skills. This is a key part of the Learning and Development 2.0 shift. A strategic place at the table is required for learning and development department to ensure that your programs are balanced to your business. Now, how might you go about such a strategy? Here are a couple of tools I favor to help the process along. This is the 7S model, which is a common model used in organizational development circles. You can take a look at the model there and what each of the S's stand for. Here's a table of what they stand for. The superordinate goals, a little explanation that they are the aspirations of the company, the beliefs and principles that drive it towards success. The strategy of the company. And if you've got various business units, you might have separate strategies for each business unit. It's good to have them written down here, or at least recorded here. The systems of the company. And here I include the information systems as well as the processes of the organization. The style of the company, or more commonly the culture of the company. The staff of the company is basically the HR of the organization. Its abilities and perhaps the thousands in a large company of competencies that drive it towards success. The structure of the company, which is the way the organization is built, its operating divisions and its decision-making mechanisms. And finally, the skills of the company, and I like to define these as the core skills of the company. What is the organization especially good at? And in my opinion, these, and there should be a limited number of core skills, these play a significant role in the key learning and development effort, the focus of your learning and development department, especially when talking about formal training, should be aimed at your core competencies. Now, I like to use this model with executives and learning development professionals for two reasons. Firstly, from an organizational development and leadership perspective, executives are almost always the key change agents and leaders within any company. They should therefore have an understanding of all the elements of their business, but they should also have a tool that within one page allows them to look at these components for decision-making purposes. I like to build a one-page electronic mind map of the business during my own needs assessment so that I can understand their business quickly myself while consulting with them, hopefully about learning and development. But I also like to leave that mind map with them so that they can continue to build on it and use it as a tool for their own future decision-making purposes. Imagine having this one-page view of your company when you need to make significant change within the organization. The key to 7S is that you can't make a significant change to any one of the elements without impacting another, so it leads to better stakeholder identification and better decision making overall. Secondly, from a learning and development function perspective, it allows us to prioritize what a new learning and development department should focus on. All of the elements of 7S are important to any business or any function. But when you're launching or improving a learning and development department, my opinion is that emphasis should probably be given to the superordinate goals of the company, because you want your people to develop and be able to achieve those goals. The declared strategy of the company. If your learning and development function is not in alignment with that strategy, they may end up focusing on the wrong competencies for you. And the core skills of the company. And from previous articles, this is where I believe that formal training efforts should be aimed, basically due to the expense of formal training program development. Here's a graphic of the electronic mind map I like to build for the reasons just stated. You can see the little plus signs there next to each of the categories, and if you hit those plus signs, you can basically build out a mind map of the different systems, strategies, structures within a company. Now, this graphic I built in a tool called MindJet Manager. It's an application I love to recommend for every facilitator. It's a great tool to use in front of groups when you're building out particular lines of conversation. And you can see through the little plus signs how it expands. As I've said, this serves both as a learning tool for the people or person putting the map together, and it also serves as a continuous and live working document to assist leaders in solid change management, stakeholder identification, and quicker decision making. Another tool to help drive better strategic planning and learning development is the component business model. This is an IBM model that I've seen lots of organizations use to good effect, and it's used as follows. Across the top of the table are the core competencies of the organization, and down the side of the table are the accountability levels. Here's a few reasons why this is such a good model if you take the time to populate it. Firstly, you actually identify through your core competencies, and remember these are the inputs and outputs that sets your business apart from its competitors. You identify through those core competencies what really makes a difference in your business, and this clearly allows you to focus on the real meat of your business during decision-making conferences. Secondly, you clearly identify the accountability levels of the organization. And in a decentralized and matrixed organization where job descriptions and titles can be all over the place, this helps greatly divide accountabilities. The many titles still fit into one of the three business categories: direct, control, and execute, and then you can start to sort out which functional or cross-functional group is accountable for which core competency. Thirdly, the body of the chart also clearly identifies, for change management purposes, the many stakeholder groups within the organization. You can see on one page the different functions working at the right level and working within the right core competency. And finally, though there are probably many other reasons, it also shows up the gaps and duplication throughout the company. But here's how I like to bring it back to the learning and development function in a big way. What does identifying the core competencies of your company do for your learning and development function specifically? Well, one, it allows your learning and development function to prioritize those key competencies amongst the thousands that on a regular basis many companies try to manage. It also allows you to clearly identify where your formal training efforts should go. Remember, creating formal training is expensive. You should see my video, Informal Equals Normal. So you should focus on your core competencies, and that's my opinion. But if you're looking at 10% of overall effort for your training and development function, your learning and development function, I would recommend aiming your formal training efforts towards your core competencies. Thirdly, it clearly identifies where informal training efforts should go. By identifying your core competencies, you also clearly define all other competencies as non-core. What does this do for you? Well, if it's a particularly important competency, you might still want to drive formal training towards it. But if it's not, you can look for other methods immediately to deliver good training or good information in and around this subject matter. And you'll be able to look at my blog for further advice, or if you'd like further advice, drop me a line. I'll gladly get back in touch with you. Here's another reason though why I like this model along with the 7S model. Let's say your business changes its direction. Like a lot of companies these days, you broach into new markets and new technologies. You can clearly identify the new competencies within that model, or you can drop competencies that are no longer relevant. By involving your learning and development department strategically, you can clearly and seamlessly identify what formal and informal training needs to be developed. So there you have it. A couple of popular tools I recommend to help people understand the learning and development function and how it ties so closely to organizational development. And I think within amongst what we've just talked about, there are a couple of reasons why you should build a learning and development strategy to help you drive organizational development across the board. As usual, please feel free to drop me a line and let me know if there's anything else I can help you out with.
David. David's the CEO of a big company. David's company is growing fast, very fast. And to maintain a competitive edge in an era of hyper-competition, David plans to introduce a change in the way he's doing business. Any good leader knows that the only thing that's constant is change. Changes both within and outside the organization. Mergers, acquisitions, adopting new practices, upgrading technology. All of these are inevitable. David's decided to implement ERP to manage critical functions like sales, finance, and human resources. But how are these changes going to affect the average employee? Someone like Sam, for instance. Meet Sam. Sam's an accountant. He's great with numbers. What he's not so great at is handling unpredictability. He's worried about how he will manage with the ERP system. Will he be trained properly and on time? Will the new system be launched at one go? Will the timeline of these changes be communicated to him? Sam's too anxious to focus on work. He misses deadlines. His customers are unhappy. He's so apprehensive and stressed that he quits. Now imagine the same situation with every employee of the organization. Not just Sam from accounts, but Bobby from sales and Ann from HR too. That's a lot of uncertain people stressing out about the ERP with no clear communication, worrying about changes that could have been handled better. Morale drops, attrition increases, deadlines are missed, quality falls, customers are complaining, the company suffers. Now you know why David's nervous. But what if there was another way? What if you could pick up the phone and call the specialist in managing organization change? Leading industry experts with the experience and the know-how to help ease your organization through difficult periods of transition. That's where we come in.
Do you all enjoy this video? Everybody? Everybody enjoy this video? Okay, Razi is asking what is the difference between the core support and the non-core support. See, when you are talking of the core support, Razi, core means suppose in terms of technology, if you want to know in terms of technology, then technology means suppose I am using 4 softwares in my organization. So out of those 4 softwares, one is the core system. Core system means that whatever transactions I work on, or on whatever data I work on, that data must go and save into that core system. If that core system fails, or if that core system gets crashes, then everything gets crashes. So that is the core. Like if we talk in house, if we talk at home, there are a lot of people staying at home. but the mother and the father and the parents are the core of the family. So that means the core. Core means something that is very important or something on which everything is being laid on. That is the core. So when you are talking of core support means supporting the important fact, supporting the important one, the necessary one. Non-core means, I mean, you have different other softwares also in the organization. So when you are supporting those softwares, that is non-core support. But when you are talking about the core system, the major system of an organization, that is the core support. Like servers are very important to the organization because on server, every data gets stored within the company, operational data as well as transactional data. So that is the core. You understand? Rezi, you understand? Clear to you? Okay. Okay, so I have now at last one case study on organizational development today. So this is one case study with different scenarios. So I just want that everybody must read it carefully. Just a second, I'll arrange it. Just everybody read this PPT. When you are done with this, let me know. I can scroll down. Or I'm giving an access to Rezi. Rezi, once I'm transferring control to you, once everybody, just ask everybody if they have read this part, you can scroll down for the letter part. You have the control right now with you. So just everybody silently read this PPT and try to understand what is being said in this PPT. Be in the center, Rezi. You are moving here and there. Be located. No, why you are going that side? Be in the center. Please don't scroll down right now. You can scroll down when, right? Just read this part. Whatever is visible on the screen right now, read that part. Then ask everybody on the chat box if they have read this. Then you can scroll down. Case study. So have you all read this up till now? Shall I move ahead? Little bit more is left at the last. So if you are done up till now, so that I can proceed further. Prabha, you said please proceed, but let others also say. So are you all done with this? Everybody? Are you all done? I'm not getting any reply from you. Okay, Fahad says yes. What about others? Tahir, Prabha, Najib, Anas, Ranjit Kumar, Suraj, Kelvin, Ashwin, Joy. Suraj says yes. Okay, so I think only 2 minutes are left for the class. So hope you have enjoyed today's class on organizational development. So thank you all for your time. The class is about to get over. So just do give your feedbacks after the class. It's a request. I see that only 1 or 2 people give the feedbacks. So I request everybody to give your feedbacks after the class. Okay? Thank you all for your time. Take care. Bye bye. Just do give your feedbacks.